Hello, hello, and welcome to From His Perspective podcast. How are we doing today? With your host, Pernell Gates, and my brother, Lorenzo Reynolds. What's going on, my brother? How are we doing today?
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody having a good day and just continuing to learn, man. This thing called learning is so important.
Absolutely.
So, man, I'm excited to have this conversation with our people.
Yeah,
Always excited for the comments that they add, and just again another opportunity for us to learn is amazing.
absolutely. 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 So today's conversation is going to be the art of listening. The art of listening. Man, this is going to be an interesting conversation, my brother. What's your thoughts with this? The art of listening.
I think it's definitely an interesting conversation.
Hmm.
Um, just the title itself. I don't think that a lot of people understand that listening is a art. And so if you don't know that listening is an art, you can miss out on truly listening and comprehending what's being said. I
Okay.
think we at a time where, like, if you look at social media, it's a place where people have learned to hurl insults at each other,
Okay.
attack each other in so many different ways instead of listening to understand why a person is saying what they're saying or how they got to where they got. It
Mhm.
just become a place again where we just just talk about each other, and man, we got to get better. We do.
I think you just described our podcast. So welcome. No,
Yeah, we got to get better, brother.
no, brother. I think it's. I when you brought this to the table, I was really um, interested in having this conversation because a lot of people don't listen,
Hmm.
and the art of listening, I think, is important. But what I think is even more important is the truth that we tell in our conversation. And I think it kind of go hand in hand because I can listen to you, and I think sometimes what you're saying can have a couple of different meanings, or people are hiding behind nonsense in what they're saying because they want your approval to do something, or say, hey, I let you know this, but it wasn't in full context or detail of what it needs to be. So I think this is going to be an interesting conversation, my brother.
All right. That's good. That's a good introduction.
Yeah.
All right. When it comes to the art of listening, what's the first thing that come to your mind pertaining the art of listening?
Bro, I think to listen to what the narrator is saying to you. If
Okay.
someone is saying something to you, to sit back and listen to it. And I'm gonna be honest, I think it's a couple of things that goes with this though, because um, people can say different things to you,
Uh-huh.
um, but their journey or their life or their history will allow them to have a different context behind it, so to say, right? So you can tell me something, and what you're telling me, I understand based on who you are or your past history, right? Say we were talking about relationship. Your concept of relationship and what you're telling me is going to be different than someone context in relationship. That if someone was in an abusive relationship and we're talking about relationship,
Hmm.
you can tell me the same thing, but your context with it is going to be different than someone that had a successful relationship,
Yeah.
right?
I agree with that application.
Hmm.
The way they put it, the application of it gonna be different.
Yeah.
We gotta be able to articulate exactly what we're saying. I think that's everything. The way that you say a message could be everything. The way you saying it versus the way that a person is hearing it could be two different things as well. And so sometimes you need to ask follow-up questions to make sure that that person is hearing what you're saying,
Hmm.
because you're saying it one way but it's received another.
Sure.
Communication won't be effective, and the art of communication at that point in time is not an art at all. And
But
so
I think
I think
some.
with that, you got to put feelings aside sometimes. You got to put past judgments and feelings aside. If
Mhm.
you don't put feelings and past judgments aside, you're gonna come into a situation thinking that you already know.
Well, I think this, bro. I think manipulation plays a part in that,
Mm,
right? And it's not. I think it's the person given the message responsibility to be clear in what they're saying and what they mean, and in full context, the details of everything. I think that's important because it's my job to listen. Because to be honest, if someone is talking and you're listening, they're giving instructions. And
right.
so I think the majority of the responsibility goes to the person speaking, not the person listening. You know what I mean? To make sure that the understanding is there.
Hmm.
Just my opinion on that.
And I'm so glad that you're so misinformed, because
Hmm.
that you are misinformed.
Hmm.
That brings up a great point.
Okay.
I would have to say that both are equally a responsibility. Are equally responsible. I'm sorry. The
Hmm.
person that's giving
I
the
know exactly what
message,
you talk about, but go ahead, continue.
the person that's giving the message is 100% responsible for giving it out the right way. You can give the right message the wrong way. You could be disrespectful, you could be mean, you could be biased in your delivery, and it's not going to be received. So I'm 100% responsible for giving it the right way, and that person is responsible 100% for receiving it. So I would, have to say that that's the concept of marriage not being 50-50 or 75-25, but it's 100-100. That's how it is for the art of communication. It has to be 100-100.
Rance, again, if someone is giving a message,
And I'm only talking to the people who have knowledge and understanding, or at
okay,
least seek it. So
okay, but
certain things you just not gonna understand, and we can agree with that.
yeah, we definitely can, and certain things you just can't articulate how they
Yeah,
needed to
yeah.
be
Now that was clear
articulated.
communication, but we'll let the people decide what they decide, and let the
Absolutely,
chips fall as they may. Uh-huh.
keep falling, keep falling.
Yeah, because I've learned over the 4 years of dealing with you. Sometimes, brother, I'm not even talking to you. I'm just talking to the people. I'm talking to the
Okay,
comments and
okay.
the people that, because some people just don't want the art of listening or to want to understand it. And
And
I'm done.
I totally agree with that, and I think some people, when they're delivering a message, just want to be heard, and they want to be right because they're delivering a message. And I think that's really important because you're giving a message, it doesn't mean, and I see this a lot of times, it
Mhm.
doesn't mean that um, you can't be corrected, or
Right.
it's not, or the message that you're delivering. And I think a lot of times too, it depends on who you're delivering it to.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I
You
mean?
you you brought
And
us something
so,
earlier, brother, and I want to go a little deeper into it. You said
okay.
that sometimes a person withheld telling you all the truth in their
Mhm,
delivery. Why
mhm.
do you think people do that? Why do you think they withhold telling all of the truth and only give you fractions of it?
Bro, I think it's a form of manipulation, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Again, um, I think people,
And I can agree with that, but
and
what's some other reasons beyond
well,
manipulation?
I was going to explain. I think it's a form of manipulation. And then on the other side of that is
Hmm.
people want to do what they want to do, right?
Uh,
And they'll say, "Oh, I told you," or "I this," and they don't want the issue of non-communication with you. So you say, "Hey, you didn't communicate this with me," so you go from one stage to another. Say, "Oh, I am communicating," but it's how I'm communicating,
uh,
right? And I think a lot of times with a lot of people, situations are they want to do just what they want to do. You know what I mean? And they don't want the repercussions of having to ask someone else or to answer to someone else.
mhm.
But I think in relationships, that's just a part of it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I have to communicate with my wife, and sometimes I have to answer to her. You know what I'm saying? And then
absolutely.
sometime I think it's reversed. But this thing with communication, I think it's just really important. um, that we have matter of fact communication, so to say, right? If I'm communicating with you, I want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from. I understand where you're coming from. And then whatever our conclusion is in between that is a fair and balanced conclusion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha. That's pretty good. I heard you bring up manipulation quite a few times, and so
Hmm.
as a professional doctor, what I hear you saying is that you feel like people are manipulating you. So I just want to deal with it. I'm your
Okay.
therapist, right?
Well,
So I
I'm gonna
want to
lay
deal
down.
with it.
I'm gonna lay down.
I want to deal with it from this perspective.
Okay.
And it's about looking at questions and answers from different perspectives. If you only see something from one perspective,
Hmm.
then in my opinion, you're gonna be limited for your life. And so we become open and we broaden up our thought process when we learn to look at things from different perspectives. Sometimes people can withhold information because of fear. Fear is that. So I didn't tell you all the truth because I fear how you will react. I fear what was you would say. And so when we look at the Bible, when it comes to a scripture that deals with communication, is James 1:19.
Okay.
James 1:19 says, be uh, quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Be
Hmm.
quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger.
Hmm.
That listening is everything. I try my best to increase my listening more and more because I want to hear everything that this person is saying so
Sure.
that I can understand how did they get to the decision that they're making. And then when you give people back their words, it'll sometimes allow them to make the decision to be convicted
Hmm.
of their decision not being right
Right.
or to continue in it. But a lot of times, bro, if we try to figure it out for them, even if it don't make sense, if they don't know that it makes sense,
Hmm.
and you don't give them that chance to explain it completely, then we're gonna be lost. And that art of communication won't be an art of at all. And so, in order for it to be what it is, it takes two. It definitely do.
Um, Brother, when it comes to the art of listening,
Hmm.
is it difficult or was it difficult for you to listen to your children when they started communicating with you?
When it was something I didn't agree with, of course, it's difficult. So for me, having a daughter, if I want that communication to be effective, when it was something that I didn't agree with, I had to swallow my pride. I had to check my ego, right? Especially when it comes to dating, especially when it comes to traveling and making decisions. If I want that young lady to
Do
feel
you
like
think
I'm
do
not
you think that
judging
was
her.
do you think that was hard for you to swallow?
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What
I'm sorry. Yeah,
no, you offer. You
I knew you
offer.
I knew
I
you had one of them Diddy moments.
offer this.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
just thought,
No, what's
I
that?
thought once you turn 50, your behavior would change, but
No, it don't. It don't.
no, but bro, listen, when it's something easy, ain't no challenge. It's only when it caused you to really bite. It's been some times where, brother, I had to truly bite down on my tongue in order not to say anything. But if I don't, then she gonna feel like I gotta sneak, and that's when the sneakiness come in, and then you'll be like, well, why you didn't communicate with me? Because if I do, you get upset. And so I've learned sometimes when my kids ask for something, I say, give me a minute. So what I'm doing is I'm processing what they're saying. If not, then I'm gonna act out in emotions. And I had my fair share of doing that. When I was in my earlier 20s, I might as well call that the most emotional roller coaster I ever been on. I would cuss you out. I would let you know how I feel. If I felt like it was disrespectful to me, or if it was just simply that it's something that I didn't
Yeah,
um
yeah, I get it. You're just ignorant. Go ahead.
yeah, it was ignorance, but if it was just something that I didn't agree with, and so we can have a disagreement. You and I have a lot of disagreements. Sometimes,
Ooh,
brother, I'm gonna be honest. You truly irk my nerve. Like
man.
if when I'm successful in the marriage, it's gonna be because I was able to deal with you.
Yeah,
So
you
I
welcome.
owe a part of
You
that to
welcome.
you, bro.
You
You
welcome.
is
And honestly, I look at my marriage as smooth sailing. For bro, I had the same problem, and mine is a little different than yours because so my ignorance came with how I dealt with Angelique and Jasmine, right?
Your two older nieces, correct?
Yes, it's not saying that I'm gonna say I was wrong with my approach, but my message was right, right? But the approach of it was wrong, right? And so I had to learn to adjust the approach. But the problem is I'm dealing with their children now, and my approach is different.
Yeah.
And everything else is different, right? But the problem is in the back of their mind, they're saying, oh, I know how Uncle Nail is, and he this. And I think a lot of times when people aren't around you, they just know who you were and not who you are.
Oh, absolutely. And so
I think this is huge when it comes to the art of listening, because again, if we don't listen, we're not listening, and we don't understand change, or we don't, change of behavior or change of how we think about things or look at things. And I think that's extremely important, that we have to always give a person an opportunity and not just jump to conclusions based on our past history with them.
I agree with you 1,000%, man. One of the most easiest things there is to do is to have a preconceived notion
Absolutely.
that this person ain't gonna never change. And listening, in my opinion, is something that we have to continue to grow in, but we have to also not only grow with it, but change the way that we do it, because our children communicate differently. When they're a baby and a toddler, they communicate by what? Crying. When they get older, they start communicating with what? Limited words. When that speech improves, then they could tell you bigger words, and they could tell you how they feel. When it comes to the art of communication, it's not just words, it's understanding the emotions of the person that's saying them. What are your true emotions? How do you truly feel? Why do you feel this way? And sometimes you have to deal with that as well, or at least, you know what I'm saying, you have to take that into consideration instead of just thinking that it's one thing and it's probably not.
Okay.
When it comes to the art of listening, where do you think today's single woman is falling short at when it comes to understanding the man? Today's single woman.
I guess it goes back to what we were just talking about. They're listening to see what benefits them and not listening to see what the other person is saying. Or I think a lot of times people go into situations for their benefit. And I say this a lot. I say, hey, don't be so selfish.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
I think a lot of times people are selfish, and they'll be like, oh, I'm not and I'll say, okay, look at how you're going at this. You may give the person or give people the world, but you're selfish in how you react. And with walking into situations with your mind already made up of how this should be done or how you want to do it, instead of walking into it and say, okay, let me hear out the situation, and then we make decisions are made before you even come to the meeting a lot of the times. You know what I mean? And instead of saying, hey, I'm going to come up with a game plan. I'm going to bring my to the table. You're going to bring yours to the table. And then we're going to come up with a game plan and then execute that. Right?
Yeah.
But again, they're coming to the table and saying, this is how we're going to do it. And it's not the concept of negotiating. Right? And I think that's extremely important, my brother, that we come to the table and say, okay, you know what? I want to come with my hands up and my heart open. Open hands, open heart, open mind. The same way we come to God, I think it's the same way we need to come to the table when it comes to this thing called transparency. I think
Mhm.
that's important. But the same thing when we come to the table with the art of listening, and I'm sorry about that, but I just wanted to get that out because when it hit my head like that, especially that transparency,
Yeah.
that's extremely important.
Yeah.
That's extremely important that we're transparent about our um, our situations and not just come into it and say, it's this, and have a something that we hold in the back. The only time I don't think you really need to be transparent is when you're in the boxing ring. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We're gonna do what we do because we want the element of surprise. You know what I mean? But I think in relationships you don't want that. But what's your thoughts?
I think your answer was half trash, half good.
Okay.
You said some important things in there. Uh, for me, brother, when it comes to the single woman,
Mhm.
today's single woman, not overall, but for the majority, I think when it comes to effective communication, I think a lot of women are bringing their wants to the tables instead of their needs. And
Mhm.
so if you in the dating process and you tell a person what you want, I want a purse, I want trips, I want a friend, I want this, I want that. But what about the things that you need though? You need a covering. You need somebody that's following God first. First seek the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness. You need somebody who has spiritual authority and know who they are in Christ. Like that's what you need. And so when it comes to the art of communication, it's not about so much of what we want, but it's more so what we need because what you need gonna get you way more further ahead than some of your wants. Should we have some of our wants? Absolutely. But if your wants are based on all fleshly things, then that's what you're gonna get.
Mhm.
Same thing for a man. If all his wants in a woman is on fleshly things, the way she look, how big her breast is, how big her butt is, what
Mhm.
she can do for me sexually. If everything is based off of your wants and not you need somebody who you can pray with. You need somebody who can hold your hand. You need somebody to support the many ideas that God give you. And so I just think about the wants and the needs and put those two on the balancing table and say we got to make this thing make sense.
Brother, I was looking on here to see if I could change your name to Parrot because you just said everything that I just said.
No, I definitely didn't.
That's what we not gonna do today.
We'll let the people decide that. I don't think I said anything you said, but
Okay.
maybe I'll after I listen to it, my
Okay.
listening will go to another level. But I don't think I said nothing that you said. Matter of fact, if you say it's red, I'm gonna say it's blue,
I,
and
I
we just
think
gonna.
that necktie is too tight on your neck.
Yeah, well,
It is messing with your brain.
well, listen. In my Miss Pearly voice, somebody likes it. Remember Miss Pearly said that on next Friday.
I
It was
can't.
like Miss.
I
It's
can.
like Miss Pearly, you got a mustache. She said somebody like it.
Oh, my brother. What you got, my brother?
When it comes to the art of listening,
Hmm.
being transparent, your word that you learned 5 minutes before the show. But
Uh-huh. Thank you.
when it comes to being transparent, how do you feel like you've grown over the years in the art of listening?
Bruh, um, for me, um, that's one thing I learned at an early age was transparency. I
Mhm.
think um, me growing up with my grandmother, older parents, um, that was always on the table, just being transparent, and that was she demanded that. You know what I mean? Um, whether she, I think that's everything, man. To if I'm nothing else, I think I'm very transparent with
Do you
people.
think there's a such thing as being too transparent?
I do, and I think I have that problem.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really do. I think sometimes we are too transparent with people, or
What would be your ideal of being too transparent, Dennis?
um, bro. I think it's a balance with um, telling people things, but telling people the necessary information that they need
Yeah,
and not extra,
not
right?
extra. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's, or just saying, okay, you know what, let me just tell you this instead of going into your truth about them and why you feel this and why is that. I
Some
don't think,
things don't need to be said. I
yeah,
agree
yeah,
one
yeah.
thousand
I think
percent.
certain things aren't necessary, And
Facts.
so um, that transparency, I think, is just going to be is going to be everything. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Yes, we um, tell the truth because this is what transparency. We can look at things and we can go left or we can go right.
Hmm.
We say we going, but transparency is I'm going left and then I'm going here. And as I said, I told you I was going over here, but you didn't tell me you were making other stops in the midst of, or you see what I mean? And what that transparency does is it builds trust.
Hmm.
It builds trust. And without that transparency, it breaks trust, right? And you can say, okay, yes, I'm telling you something, and you'll just feel like I don't trust anything you say because it's always an extra piece on here, on the end of here. And if you're not telling me everything that's going on, what am I to believe? Because it's always something left out that I'm in the dark about. If this is 100% what you're doing, that's what I need to know. Give me all of the information so I can, take it all in and say, okay, you know what, it's this is what it is. And I think, especially when you're dealing with young adults or children, right?
Yeah.
And saying, okay, you know what, where are you going and what's the situation? I'm going to the skating rink. Okay, you didn't tell me you were going over Julie's house, and you didn't tell me you were going to the store, and her mama was going to do this, and this. But yeah, we did that before we. Okay, the transparency is important because, and I say this all the time, I have a responsibility to you, and you have a responsibility to me. If
Hmm.
something happens as a protector, I need to know details and all the information so I can protect you correctly,
Yeah.
right? But I think a lot of times we'll ask someone to do something for us and we don't think they'll do it if these other elements are in the details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I think about that, brother?
What's up?
I think that complete and total transparency produces truth and
Yes.
trust. It produces
Yes.
trust.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
And so what I just did was I just summed it up in 7 words, everything
Mhm.
that took you 3 minutes and 14 seconds. And so
The reason why
since
my
you said I said exactly what you said, I just
brother,
wanted to
bro,
shorten it up.
and
And it felt good. I feel amazing about what I just did.
I appreciate that, but let me show you the context of this.
Uh-huh.
I give examples so people can understand and not just hear me, but they get an understanding of, okay, I understand that based on my past experiences
Yeah.
or this, and this.
Yeah.
And you being direct and right to the point, a lot of times it goes over their ball head. I mean, people head.
Uh-huh. No. I just wanted to show you because
Okay.
like
And I
with
want
me,
to tell
with
you.
me, and when it comes to the art of when it comes to the art of communication and
Mhm.
speaking and when it comes to the art of these things,
Mhm.
sometimes less is more. Less
You
is
know,
better.
you know what I
And
learned though, brother?
and some one time you was talking to me, I went to sleep and I woke
Mhm.
up and you was still talking and I went to sleep twice
You know,
within one conversation. And so
um, what I learned is this: we have to give, and I think this is your problem, and I'm trying to help you before you find Mrs. Right. Uh,
please do.
that the more we communicate and the more that we make sure that they understand our communication, because the better we'll be.
Yeah.
because you say the art of listening,
And
right?
I definitely have to. I definitely have to say, no, you don't. After the horse is dead, you don't have to keep kicking it. You already got your point across. You're gonna keep kicking the same dead horse. The
Okay.
horse is dead. You got your point off. I said amen 3 times, and you just gonna keep
That's why
going
we
on and
don't go
on.
horseback riding, but we back.
That's a good one. I'll let you go forth with the next question, sir.
Brother, when it comes to this thing with the art of listening,
Mhm.
are we listening a lot of times to hear, or are we listening to learn? And I think that's really important. Do
You
you?
asked me. You asked me that question, right?
Yes.
So let me answer it because you was finna ask me, then answer the
No,
question that
I
you asked.
was. Go ahead. I was going to give context
No,
to.
I don't want your context.
Okay, well,
The
go for
outer listener,
it.
after you ask me a question, let me see that. That's my point right there. That's my point.
And my point
You
is,
gonna ask
I
me a
want,
question and then try to set it up the way
I
I don't
want
need you to set it up the
the
way.
reason why,
Listen,
because
you asked the
again,
question. Now listen.
with
Let me
the
know when you're
art
ready to
of
listen.
listening, it can be
Oh my.
several things in this that
No,
you can answer. If it,
I
go,
don't
go
even
for
want it. I just want what you asked me, and I'll take it from there.
it. Okay, please.
What was the question again?
What?
Yes.
Are we talking about the art of listening?
It's the toxicity behind you.
What?
It's the toxicity behind you.
No.
You stressing me. You're stressing me, brother. What was the question again?
Drink one for me, please.
I'm serious. What was the question?
No, I'm gonna give you another one. I can't.
Mm. No, I want that one. You see what happened was, and this is a prime example.
Okay.
You made me defend myself so
No,
much.
you said I got it. I said, okay.
You made me defend myself so much until I forgot what was most important. And
And,
so sometimes, no. Sometimes your delivery could be so toxic till you make a person forget what's important. So that's
and
on you.
guys, this is what I want to say about this. The art of
Jeez.
the art of listening is extremely important, and it's something that my brother don't have because
Yeah,
he goes in, and I can say something, and I try to give context to what I'm saying.
I don't want no context. Just ask your
So
question.
I try to give him see what I mean. I'm saying something now he can't listen. I try to give him context to what I'm saying because, again, what a lot of times what you say can be perceived in several different ways. And me giving context on the end of what I'm saying is so I can say, okay, this is exactly what I want. And I think this is the problem that a lot of people have with the art of listening because I'm saying, okay, this can be
They want you to
perceived.
hurry up. And
Yeah, this can
so,
be
brother,
perceived several different ways.
yeah, I think correction is very much needed, and I'm
Mhm.
ready to
Yes,
learn on the
very
job. I'm
good.
ready. I'm ready to learn on the job in real time. So, can you ask me the question, and this time you can give as much concept or content, whatever you said that you would like to.
Oh my
So, can we learn together in real time? Go ahead, brother. Ask me.
nope.
And that's this is a prime example of why communication ain't effective because
No,
you was right
communication.
with one thing. Now you want to over drag it, and I see what my sister go through. So in marriage, I'll be praying for my sister.
I'm gonna let you ask the next question. Then I'm gonna come back to you with the question I just asked, please.
Yeah. So now what you're doing is what a lot of people that's from Flint, Michigan do is they
We
want to
do.
host stuff over your head and make you try to earn it again. And so I think that's very prideful, but you just showing America in London because we had somebody from London on our last show.
Absolutely.
You just showing people from all over the world,
Absolutely.
ignorance. So thank you for being an
You're
example
welcome.
of ignorance. Amen.
And Paula just said in the comments, Renz ain't got no sense. So thank you,
Wow.
Paula. Foxy agreed. Thank you so much, Foxy. Go ahead.
Nah, Foxy have told me numerous of times that she's on my side. So we'll let that be that.
What you got, my brother?
When it comes to the art of listening,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want people to hear from you most? What do you why do you want people to listen to you most, and what do you want them to hear?
Bro, I think our time is valuable. And I think when we take the time to explain or say something to someone, it's important. And I think it goes to a respect level, right? If someone is taking their time to listen to you, or to hear you, or to say something to you, I think that mutual respect is important. Um, you and I have some just really, really in depth conversations, whether it's business, personal, or whatever. And the art of listening is extremely important because a lot of times, especially when you're around like minded people,
Mhm.
people are going to give you things that's going to make your journey and your life easier. You know what I mean? I was talking to my brother and I said, we're sitting back and I watched the podcast. I need to correct a lot of my grammar and how I'm saying things. I'm umming too much. I'm this, I'm that, and I don't like it. And he was saying, P, start reading a little bit more every day. Read 5 pages and do this, this, and this. And I said, okay. Um, there we go. Listening to that and taking that information in is beneficial. I'm not just hearing him. I'm listening to what he's saying and having understanding. And I think that's the part of listening
Yeah.
is you listen for understanding and not listen just to pacify someone. And I think that's extremely important.
Yeah.
A lot of times we people can be talking to us and we just like, all right, yeah, go ahead. A boss, your parents, or whoever. And are you listening because you're engaged in the conversation, or listening just to let them talk or let them get off what they need to say?
Mhm.
So,
That's pretty good.
yeah.
I'll let you go ahead with your last question because we only got a few minutes left.
Okay. Um, brother, with the art of listening, um, you deal with a lot of youth. What is something that why is it important that they listen to you? And when you say something, what do you want them? Um, what do you really want them to get out of that? Right? What do you want them to? The different messages that you tell them, because listening we can learn, and I'm kind of explaining this a different way, and my mind is going a couple of different places. When we deal with youth, we want to teach them and say, "Hey, listen to what I'm saying." A lot of them will have pushback. How do you get them to calm down and just hear what you say with all the energy and everything else that's going on?
So as you was talking, I was looking at the time. You take up a lot of time.
That
That's definitely one of my pet peeves when it comes to
well, again, it's
the
okay.
art of
You're,
listening.
you're my pet, so don't worry
Is
about
is
it.
is it be a time thing for me, and this is something that I'm praying on and working on. So when I'm
Okay,
talking to a person, I'll be
Lorenzo
looking at
sick.
how much of my time are they taking versus how much time are they listening.
Lorenzo
And
Rolo.
so I be thinking time needs to be equally divided. And so when I'm talking to somebody and they take way more time than me, in my mind I'd be like, do you think you more intelligent than me that you got, or do you think your opinion is so much more valuable than mine to you gonna take up more than the talking time than me? Just people in
Yes,
general. And
yes.
so I've learned, no, you just
I'm
gotta
not
let the
people. I'm your brother, and yes,
you gotta let the people talk, bro. And so that's what I'm working on, and that's why I have to mature in, right?
yes, you
But
do.
when it comes to the youth, to answer your question, the main thing I be wanting our youth to know is that we've been where they are. We've
Mhm,
been that age. They haven't been our age.
mhm,
So, in order for you to get to my age, you need to listen. And you need to listen not only to what I've been successful in,
mhm,
but I want to share with you my failures as well. I want
mhm.
to share with you things that I didn't learn until my late 30s, early 40s. If I give those things to you now, how much more successful will you be? I often say this because I mean it. I mean it with all my heart. When it comes to my son and my children, I want my ceiling to be their floor.
Mhm.
The level that I'm on now, y'all can get this information at 21 and 17 years old if you
Cool.
just listen to me. And so I try so hard to give it to them, and I just pray that they listen. And I have to allow, God to be God, and knowledge, understanding, and wisdom to be what it is in order for them to hear it but use it. And so the art of listening is sometimes you saying the right thing, which is sowing the right seed, but you got to be patient on it to have its manifestation because you don't see it instantly. And so that's so important, bro. And again, this thing called the art of listening, we have to continue to grow in. And there's so many things that we're going to learn from this conversation. And this time next week, we'll be like, man, I didn't know this and I didn't know that, but now I do. So it's a continued effort to continue to stretch forward.
Okay. My brother, that was a trash answer.
You're
And
welcome.
that's not what I asked you.
You're
And
welcome.
I'll answer the question. My name is Lorenzo.
So we doing this?
And so, no, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
We doing it. You asked me what I want the youth to. Why would I want the youth to listen? And so,
I was going to go there, but I said I ain't going to even go there this
cause
week.
you know why because you can't. You can't. You
I
try
was
to.
definitely going to go there with
No, you try to do what I did last week, but you ain't nobody. Let me tell you something, bro. From the bottom of my heart, ain't nobody come
everybody
to see
saying
you,
this to
Otis. Otis, ain't nobody come to see you.
Oh, my brother, my brother. What's your final thoughts with this? Let's get ready to wrap it up.
Bro, my final thought with this thing called the art of listening is don't never feel like we got it figured out. There's
Mhm.
so much more to the story
Yeah.
of listening. And the more we listen to the stories of others, the more we'll be able to one day tell our story, or it's going to add so many and connect so many pieces to the story of who we are. But everybody got something important to say. And my last thing, bro, I truly feel that if it's a 5-year old that come into my gym,
Mhm.
it's something that I can learn from that 5-year old baby. And it's something that I can learn from everybody through their communication. So I want to give people that chance to communicate as long as they don't talk for 20 minutes and only give me 10.
Mhm.
I want to give them that time to say what they need to say because that's how we continue to learn.
My brother, I think it's people have to understand what you're talking about and listen.
Hmm.
I think, but the first thing in that is the art, right?
Hmm.
The art is, and it can be so many different ways. There's a lot of different art, um, and looking at that and looking at the words, if we kind of break it down, um, how you receive the information is up to you.
Hmm.
Um, but at the end of that is listen, right? Are you digesting the information that's given to you? Because the art is people are going to give it to you all different kinds of ways, in
Yeah.
their own different ways. It's going to be different pictures on the wall or different things, and art can be con- contrast. Sorry, and it can be all different kind of ways. And so we like a lot of different ways, a lot of different things. And I think the art of listening is saying people are going to tell you different things, different kind of ways.
Hmm.
And
We got 1 minute left. TV network only giving us the minutes that they giving us. So you
this
got
way,
you got 50 seconds.
this way, that way. And so um, my thing is listen. It boils down to it boils down to
Thank
this.
you, bro.
You're welcome,
Don't,
guys.
can I have the rest of the day off? Can you not call me for the rest of the day? I had enough of you.
I planned on not calling.
No, this has been a real good show, brother,
It
and
has, my brother.
it's so much. And yes, when I get married, we're gonna. I'm so toxic until we're gonna have a hour sand glass.
Mhm.
When it's your turn, when it's her turn to talk, you get everything you got to say out before that sunglass run out. That sand glass run out, and then when it's my time to talk, we're gonna flip it back over. Cause talking needs to be equal. You talk more than anybody I know, and that's our time, guys. Enjoy the rest of y'all weekend.
Guys, we are looking forward to seeing you guys in Cancun, Mexico. And so, guys, make sure you sign up at FromHisPerspectivePodcast.com. Thank you, my brother. I will see you in a minute. Thank you, guys.